Hi there. Are you a fan of theme parks? Do you love roller coasters as much as I do? I'm traveling the planet on a mission to ride as many coasters as possible, and I'd love to share my adventures with you. Welcome to Blame It on the Inverts. I'm Sean. Today we're at my forever home park, Knott's Berry Farm. A park rich with history nestled right in the middle of Orange County, California. What started out as a berry stand in 1920 has grown into a world-class theme park filled with rides with everybody. Let's go take a look. Ghost Rider is the last attraction the Knott family started planning before selling the park to Cedar Fair in the late 1990s. It is one of Knott's biggest coasters, and many consider it to be one of the best wooden roller coasters in the world. It always has the longest line at the park, and there's many reasons for that. The first drop's fantastic and hurls you into that course filled with airtime moments and lateral forces. The mid-course gives you a gorgeous view of the entire park before pulling you back down into the chaos. And that helix finale hits every single time. Your rides are only going to get wilder throughout the day as the track warms up, so make sure you come back towards the end of the day to get one of the best wooden roller coaster rides there's out there. Ghost Town is one of the oldest themed areas in the park, waiting to welcome you just inside of the entrance. In addition to the attractions, they have people putting on blacksmith, wood carving, and glass blowing demonstrations, as well as shops for park merch and booths for local vendors. One thing Knott's has done extremely well as a park is keeping the integrity of Walter Knott's vision intact while still growing the park into the thrill destination it is today. Here's a few of my favorite things that still remain in Ghost Town from my earlier visits. The catawampus has been a staple at Knott since the late 1930s and was one of a few items Walter installed to keep guests occupied while they waited in line for dinner at Cordelia's Chicken Dinner Restaurant. Originally located up by where Ghost Rider is, the catawampus currently lives just underneath the windmill, just past the jail at the end of Main Street. The catawampus has gone through many different versions during its history. This is the current version. While you're walking down Main Street, take a look to your left when you see the town jail sign, and when you see the leg hanging out of the window, you know you're in the right place. Just down the little alleyway, we have Sad-Eyed Joe. He's been Ghost Town's jail occupant for quite some time. When I was a kid coming to the park, they actually used to have somebody with a microphone standing behind a screen so you could actually talk to Sad-Eyed Joe. My last few visits, he's only been here snoring. I don't hear a sound effect now, but if you happen to come by and hear somebody speak to you, talk back. Joe's been in here for a really long time.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, somebody's here?
I'm always here. I can't leave.
I'm not gonna lie, my last few visits to the farm, there's been nobody in the jail. They just had a snoring sound effect, so that was super exciting to hear somebody talk back to me today. So yeah, if you ever get a chance and you stop by the jail, talk back to Joe. It's so much fun. There's a small graveyard in Ghost Town, and legend has it, if you stand directly on top of one of the grave sites, you can still feel the heartbeat of the person laid to rest there. And that coaster you see in the background is Pony Express, a launched roller coaster that you ride as if you were riding a horse. This is the second of 3 coasters in the Ghost Town area, and a great coaster for all ages and levels of thrill seekers. The third coaster in Ghost Town is Silver Bullet, an inverted coaster manufactured by Bolliger and Mavillard, or B&M. Silver Bullet has a very unique and satisfying layout. The overbank turn after the loop, the zero-G roll into the turnaround over the Stagecoach station, and the corkscrew sideways floater airtime hill corkscrew into the helix over the water is one of my favorite coaster finales. Speaking of favorites, every roller coaster enthusiast has their personal list of favorites. Top roller coasters, favorite flat rides, best park, even favorite roller coaster model. My favorite model just so happens to be the B&M invert. And while Silver Bullet wasn't my first invert, that title actually belongs to the invert just up the I-5 freeway. I do have Silver Bullet ranked very highly. I was around 12 or 13 when I got my first ride on the B&M invert, and Being that age and riding one of the first roller coasters with the track above you and your feet dangling below is definitely one of the reasons why B&M Inwards is still my favorite today. Located right next to Silver Bullet is Camp Snoopy, an area for families with plenty of rides for little ones to enjoy. Camp Snoopy just went through a major update with a brand new roller coaster that opened in 2024. Snoopy's Tender Paw Twister is a great addition for young thrill seekers, featuring both a lift hill and a launch. There is another coaster in Camp Snoopy for those slightly more advanced thrill seekers that aren't quite ready for the big thrills yet. Sierra Sidewinder has a track that winds all around itself, and also has cars that spin freely throughout the course. Every ride on this is different and always so much fun. With all of the other rides and attractions for younger park goers, Camp Snoopy is a great area for young ones to build up their confidence to try the much bigger thrill machines once they reach that magical height. My passion for roller coasters started as a child. Growing up down the 91 freeway in Riverside County, we visited the farm pretty often. That was in the 1980s and 1990s when the Knott family still owned the park, and they used to let you in free on your birthday if you brought a copy of your birth certificate. Both of my parents were elementary school teachers, and my birthday's in the summer, so it made it very easy to take an annual birthday trip to the farm. Here's a list of attractions that are still around from those wonderful trips of ours. Also included in this list are 3 classic attractions that are truly the heart and soul of Knott's Berry Farm. Starting with the Calico Mine Ride. This train ride takes you into a mining excavation site and was the first major ride that the park built back in 1960. Right across the pathway, the Timber Mountain Log Ride was built in 1969 and was one of the first log flume rides ever constructed. It continues to be one of the most popular attractions in the park to this day. And last but certainly not least, we have the Calico Railroad. This was the first attraction Walter Knott installed to bring people to the farm. Its station sits smack in the middle of the park, and it takes you on a loop by Pony Express, around by the boardwalk area, and along Fiesta Village before returning back to Ghost Town. Fiesta Village is home to a really fun collection of flat rides, as well as a couple of roller coasters. Jaguar is a fun family coaster that takes place entirely above the park. It's another great warm-up coaster for all of the younger enthusiasts out there. The second coaster is currently undergoing a major renovation and expected to open later in 2025. Originally called Montezuma's Revenge, it was a launched coaster that went through a loop and up a spike, only to fall backwards through the loop and go backwards through the station to a reverse spike, then falling back into the station. It was awarded an ACE Landmark plaque back in 2019, and I can't wait to ride it again when it reopens as Montezuma, the Forbidden Fortress. If you're unfamiliar with ACE, it stands for American Coaster Enthusiasts. ACE is a membership club that holds events at parks all over the world, and they also have a very active mission in the preservation of roller coasters. Most of these events have something called exclusive ride time, where they keep the rides running just for the event attendees. They're always super fun, and if you'd like more information on ACE, I'll be sure to leave their website in the video description. The boardwalk is probably the section of the park that's seen the most changes from my earliest memories at the farm. Currently, it's home to the park's final 3 coasters, as well as a nice collection of flat rides, the Sky Cabin, and a dark ride. Coast Rider is a Wild Mouse coaster with seaside theming and a fun compact layout placed right at the back of the perimeter of the park. Right across from Coast Rider, we have Hang Time, the first dive coaster in California. Hang Time is a great layout for such a compact coaster, and if the park is open past sunset, make sure you come back to check out the lighting package. It's one of the best on any coaster out there. Knott's Berry Tales is an interactive dark ride located in the back corner of the park where you try to stop coyotes from stealing the boysenberry pies for the fair. It's located above the arcade, and this building has housed a few different dark rides throughout its history. Back in 2002, there was a short moment in time where I was a ride operator for Knott's Berry Farm. My ride was Kingdom of the Dinosaurs, which is one of the predecessors to the current ride. Berry Tales and Kingdom of the Dinosaurs are very similar layouts, so anytime I take a ride on Berry Tales, it usually takes me right back to either doing the pre-opening walks or the after-closing walks on the ride. I was given an opportunity I couldn't pass up, and that ultimately ended my very brief career as a ride operator, but I loved it so much. While I was a ride operator, Knott's was constructing the last coaster on our tour of the farm, Accelerator. The first Intamin hydraulic launch coaster. It opened in June of 2002 and reaches a speed of 82 miles an hour in 2.3 seconds. Hydraulic launches are some of the most powerful you can find on a coaster, and the experience is pure adrenaline. Once you're launched, you go up a 205-foot top hat before rushing back down into a couple of overbanked turns and ending at the brake run. Accelerator is still one of the best launches out there, and I always try to get at least one ride every visit. Thank you so much for joining me on this tour of Knott's Berry Farm. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Next time, I'll be taking you to that invert just up the I-5 freeway, so make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can come along for the ride. Speaking of ride, it's time for me to go. I'll see you next time.